Are you hungry? Because if so, you're in the right place. Today we're making Anolini in Brodo.
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Görgött. This is actually a request. A subscriber called Leif asked if I could make Anolini di Parma or Anolini in Brodo, and that's what we're making today. It's a classical pasta dish. Some say it's come from Parma, some say it come from Piacenza. I don't know, but it's very good. So let's make that today. Before we have a look at the board, as always, if you're not a subscriber to the channel yet, please do me the favor and hit the subscribe button and check the bell icon so you get a notification every Tuesday when a new episode comes out. Now let's have a look. And as you can see, there's no real ingredients here. We'll start with the chicken stock. Now classically you would have your Anolini as a primi. In Italy it's antipasti, primi, secondi and dolce, right? So you have 4 courses in a meal. And your Anolini would be your primi, and you would serve them in brodo, so in stock. And that's classically, I think it was a chicken stock. And then you would serve the chicken as your secondi, so as the main course. So we have our chicken stock here. I'll put a link here to I make chicken stock, how I make chicken stock. I'm not showing you today. We're just focusing on the pasta, which we have here. Our Anolini, they are filled with oxtail. So let's have a look at how we did those. So to make our Anolini, we need 2 things. We need a filling and we need a pasta dough. Let's first have a look at how I did the filling yesterday. This here is everything we need for, well, not everything we need, but everything we need to cook the oxtail. We have oxtail. It's about 1 kilo to get probably roughly 300 to 400 grams of meat. We have 2 carrots, 2 onions, some celery stalks, 2 bay leaves, probably 20 peppercorns, bottle of red wine, and a little bit over 1 liter of beef stock. And we'll just cut up the vegetables. I'm not going to show you because it's roughly. We're just going to half the onions. We're going to chop up the carrots very roughly, and the same with the celery stalks. So we'll move to when the pot is on, and we'll start there. So we'll start with just blackening our onions. It will take a minute or 2. Just have a look. No, they need more. You can see I just roughly chopped up the carrots and the celery stalks. But let's wait until these are done, then we'll pick them out and we're going to brown our oxtail. We could actually do all of the vegetables first, then take them out and do the meat. The important thing was to kind of, as you can see, the onions are the way I want them. They could even be a little bit more black. That one wasn't very black. I just want a little bit of colors on the vegetable. And once that's done, we take out all the vegetables and we put the meat in. And then we give that color. Then we can add the vegetables back and the liquid. Easy peasy. So I'm quite happy with this. We'll take the vegetables out, put them in a different container. And now we're back in with some oil. And in with the oxtail. I've always been a fan of salting as you go. We'll give this some kind of base salt. Let's turn these around. And just browning them on each side. And once that's done, we'll put the vegetables back in. I'm happy with the color. Put our veggies back in. Our bay leaves and peppercorn. And let's first go in with our red wine. Ideally half red wine and half stock until it just covers it. I would say that's about half red wine. And let's see for stock. So that's probably about a liter of stock and almost a whole bottle of red wine. So almost 50-50, a bit more stock in this case. Now we bring it to a boil. I'm kicking it over so that it doesn't drip. I can put it down there. Now we'll bring it to a boil. I will put the lid on so that it gets to boil quicker. And then we're going to let it simmer for probably about 3 hours until the meat is nice and falling off the bone. So it's boiling. I'm going to turn it on to simmer. Put the lid back on and leave it for 3 hours. I'll see you then. 3 hours later, this is relatively hot, but the meat is pretty much falling off the bone. I'm going to taste the stock. Oh. It has power. Now we'll let this cool. The best is to take out the meat and put that and cool separately, and also to strain the stock, because we're going to need the stock as well. So take out the meat, let it cool separately, and strain the stock. And I'll see you once it's cooled down. Probably takes another hour or so. Our meat is cold. Our stock has been passed through a strainer. We'll put this to the side. This is the stock that you'll see in a second. And now comes the work of just pulling off the meat. Just do this to all your meat. I mean, take away if there's some vegetables. Oh, it doesn't really matter, you can leave it. You just have to go in between. Some are a bit more difficult than others. This, you see, is just very easy. I won't bore you with this, but be careful. There's some have some like cartilage in it, so that you have to cut away afterwards. But do this to all of your oxtail pieces, and then we'll see what we do afterwards. So here we have, it's a little bit more than 300 grams of our oxtail stracotto, which, if I'm right, means kind of just overboiled or overcooked meat. And now we're just gonna chop this through a couple of times. You're gonna have to work your way back and forth because you want it really fine. So I see you once we're there. It's probably 3 to 4 minutes of work. I'll see in a bit. So this is what your meat looks like once you're done chopping. Now let's make the whole mix. I'll measure it again because we probably lost some while chopping. Yeah, 304 grams. That's pretty perfect. And you can do your filling the quantities you want. I normally do 3 to 1, so 300 grams meat. We still need to grate some Parmesan to get this up to 500. Oh, let's do 150. We can always add afterwards if we feel that it needs the salty umami. And now here we're going to do it a bit different. Take the bowl we had the Parmesan in. We had 100 grams of breadcrumbs. It's not baking, so you don't have to be to the gram accurate. And now we add from a nice stock. I like to soak the breadcrumbs first. We'll add 2 big, that was about 230 grams. I can get rid of the scale. We just let the breadcrumbs soak up the stock first. And then we add that to the rest of the mix. Now it's all about mixing everything together. Be a bit careful in the beginning so that cheese doesn't go everywhere. You might need to add a bit more stock depending on the consistency. You know what, it's much easier to do this with your hands, so I'm going to do that. A quick wash. And just continue like this until you have a quite uniform mix. Try to make sure that you don't spill too much. I'm quite happy with the consistency. Well, we're going to cool this anyways, right? So, but you can form it quite well. Now let's give it a try. It needs a bit more Parmesan. Let's get the rest in, so there is the 200 grams. And I'm going to add a little bit of extra salt, a good pinch. And then just mix it up again. So again, happy with the consistency. That's perfect. Now put this in cling film in the fridge overnight, and that's our filling. As you can see, it's not difficult, but you need a bit of time. And that's been overnight now in the fridge. Let's have a look also at how I did the pasta dough. I did this about an hour ago now. I'll show you how I did that. It's pasta time. General rule when you make egg pasta, 100 grams of flour to 1 egg. So we have 400 grams of flour and 4 eggs. Now I'm going to remove the board here, and I will make the pasta straight on the counter. So let's first get the flour out. I'm going to make a mold. And you can either put the eggs straight in there and mix them, but I like to kind of just pre-beat them a little bit. Go, put them in the middle there. Oops. That's not supposed to happen like that. I made the mold too small, but it doesn't matter too much. Just looks a bit messier. You want to work the flour in little by little. Ideally not as messy as this. Make your mold bigger. And once you manage to mix everything in, then you can start to knead it. I'm not a pasta expert, but this is a recipe that always works for me. It's this 00 flour. And that's always served me well. So let's just get in with our hands. We'll try to still clean up the egg that we spilled. Work in all the flour. Don't be stressed. Takes a bit of time, but it's. I think it's worth it. I mean, obviously you can do it in a KitchenAid or something like that as well. But just get a dough scraper to kind of scrape away the egg that's spilled. So I won't bore you with this, but I'll see you once we're kind of reaching a good consistency. The technique I'm going to try to show you is I push it out, roll it back, turn it 90 degrees, and then push it out again. And now we need to knead this, probably depending on how hard and how intense you knead, but 5-6 minutes until we have a very nice consistent dough. I'll show you what it looks like, so see you in a bit. So I'm quite happy with this now. Gonna put it in cling film and then rest it half an hour, 45 minutes. And that's the dough. Again, dead easy. Just make the mold a bit bigger so that the eggs don't run up and you have a mess. But in the end, it'll work out fine. And now it's time to use this little thing. So the camera up there it's not really going to work. So you'll have to see from there, and I hope you can see well enough. We have some flour already. And we're just going to get going and make our Anolini. First of all, we'll get a little bit more flour just to work with like that. And as you can see, I always try to keep what I'm not using still in cling film so that it doesn't dry out. We cut a piece off, and that's what we're going to work with. So first I just use my hands to flatten it out a bit. And then we're going to flour both sides. You know what? I'm going to put on the back here as well to just help us to support the dough. So give me a second to do that. And this is one I don't use very often. And they have this slide that you can put on some machines as well. So we start on, in my case on this machine it's 0, so it's the widest setting. I'm going to put it through there a couple of times, fold it in half every time. So now we move it till 2, get some more flour, both sides. Three. We'll do 5. Can skip them sometimes. We still have enough flour on it. Go 7. I know it's not ideal to see. Now you see where I got this back. It really helps to support the dough, because if you're not careful, it will stretch out and break. And we'll go 8. This one goes to 9, but I think for what we're doing, it's a little bit on the thin side. Let's just do one more. One more flouring. Now it's when it gets a little bit complicated, but you kind of just have to just make sure that when you see that it starts stretching in the back here, that you that's not ideal. I didn't watch it. So this can happen. And it just means that you go back. I wasn't careful enough. So now we make it, we'll quadruple it up. We'll go back maybe 3 settings. And we put it through the setting twice. You see, not everything works as it should when you film. So now we can start over again. We're pretty much back where we started, so we'll flour it again. Don't worry, in the end it's just water and eggs, right? There's not that much. Even if it goes wrong, you can just start over. So here we go. I'll set it to 8. And here we are. Now make sure that you have enough flour underneath. Let's try to do this in the middle so you can actually see it on the camera from on top. I'll do a little bit like that at the end. Now we have our filling. It's not too big. I think we can do 3 in a row. It's like a good fingertip. Now obviously none of us are quicker at this than I am. I have to admit, it's not that often that I make homemade pasta. Maybe once or twice a year. But when I do, I always try to do quite a bit, because you can't freeze fresh pasta quite well. Put the filling away for now. And now we have to be a bit careful. Can we manage this without... Yes. And now what I do is I take the fingers like this and I just go around each one, trying to press a little bit and get the air out. Making sure that the one here on the outside, we have enough dough there as well to cover it. Here we need to stretch a little bit. Could even have done another row of 3 maybe. So, time to stamp. Now I have one of these pasta stampers, which is really easy. You just go down and turn. But you don't need that. What I used to do before I had the stamper was, sorry for the noise. You take a capsule. What do you call it? Yeah, not a capsule. Okay, maybe a different one. But what you get is kind of get the same thing, but here you need to press down the edges yourself, so they tend to become a little bit bigger if you compare them. Lift this one up. See, it's the same amount of dough, but this one is bigger. The good thing with this is that it presses down automatically. Then you just do this, and you have your Anolini. It might seem like a lot of work, and yes, it is work, but it's not difficult, and I think it's really worth it. It tastes a lot better than what you can buy in a standard supermarket. And this you can go through again, right? So don't throw this away. Do the next batch with that. And now what I like to do is to just get them into a strainer. We could have used a little bit more flour underneath them. And then just dust them with some flour, toss them in it. Like that, they don't stick to each other. And then you can just toss this batch into another one like that. And that's how you make your Anolini. As you can see, it's not difficult, but it takes a while, and it takes a bit of practice. But as you could also see, if you make mistakes, you can always kind of correct them. Now, these have been in the fridge for a day now, so that's why they're a bit browner. I froze half of it, and half of it I put in the fridge. And to serve up, we need some Parmesan and some pepper. So let's cook our pasta and warm up the stock. I'm not going to show you, just salt the water. These take about 4 minutes, the way I make them, and they still have a nice bite. So basically, I'll see you once again when we're ready to plate. So pasta is ready, 4 minutes. Now, before we put in the chicken stock, if you stuck with me this far, there must have been something you enjoyed about this episode. So do me the huge favor and hit that thumbs up button. It's just on there, takes you a second, but it's so important to me. So please do me that favor. Now, let's get the stock. I think 2 of these should be plenty. I'll get a bit of Parmesan on there. And a bit of black pepper. Now let's dig in. And here we go. Now add Parmesan and pepper according to your own likes. And I have to say, this dish, you need a really good chicken stock. So take the time to make your own. Make a lot, freeze it, keeps for a really long time, and then you always have a bit. It's salty, has that Parmesan umami. The oxtail is amazing. It's really it's a feel-good dish, and I think there was some kind of regional queen very long time ago, and this was her favorite dish. And it said that she only, if I remember correctly, she only bowed to the king and this dish. This for dinner on a rainy Sunday, it will make your heart full of sunshine. Now, that's pretty much it for today. If you have any questions about the preparation of the recipe, leave them in the comments below. I always answer, and I'm always happy to answer. And if you're not a subscriber yet, don't forget the subscribe button and check the bell icon. That's it for this time. Take care. Bye-bye.